from Amir's apartment somewhere in Kreuzberg. This is Berlin Talks, the show where Amir interviews interesting expats, artists and other fabulous Berliners about the journey to the trashiest city in the world. And today Amir is joined by Popo Fan, a young film director from China. Popo, welcome to the channel.
Thank you, Lamia.
We met each other from a film festival, right? Or even before that, you invited me to see your films.
Yeah.
Recently, me and Popo also collaborated on a short film for the German television. So, where are you coming from?
My hometown is a small town on the east coast of China between Beijing and Shanghai with only 6 million people in the city.
Yeah, a small town only with 6 million people.
And I grew up there, and until 70 years old, I go to study in Beijing.
Mm-hmm. What did you study in Beijing?
I studied in Beijing Film Academy for writing. But after I graduated, I was doing documentary for 10 years. Then I started to do short fictional films.
Yeah, I watched some of Popo's film already, and he did a lot of documentaries about gay life in China. So you also combine activism with your filmmaking.
Activist is another important identity of myself because I have been active in the LGBT movement and the circle in China for really quite a long time. I think since when I was in university, and even now I'm based in Berlin, but I'm still trying to contribute to certain organizations such like a Beijing Queer Film Festival. Mm-hmm. I have been involved since 2007, and also Beijing LGBT Center. I'm a board member of them. Or if there are any organization need help or need some support from here, I'm always up.
So when did you move to Berlin?
I moved to Berlin 2017.
Why?
At that time, I had a stronger willing now to move out from Beijing because I had a lawsuit with government for censoring my film Mama Rainbow. So a lot of my screenings and the event was cancelled. So my first idea popped up was to move to Shanghai. But suddenly someone sent me an opportunity to do a script research in Berlin. And I've been to Berlin for quite a few times, and I loved the atmosphere here.
Do you know exactly why they censored your film in China?
I've been asking for so many times. Nobody knows. For example, my video has been online for more than 2 years, got millions of reviews and a lot of comments. Suddenly, it was taken down from all over the internet. The authority must have done something.
Yeah, how does it make you feel?
I feel so pissed off. I did my best to create this conversation between different communities, and they did their job to be understand.
You felt maybe a little bit like they betrayed you? You felt unwelcomed because of that?
I mean, I still try to go back as often as I can because I still have a lot of connection there. But somehow it's not the best time to live in China now.
Because of the virus or because of politics?
Well, because of politics.
Okay, so let's go back to Berlin. Can you please tell us what the things that you love about Berlin?
I think when I was choosing a place to live, I have 3 elements in my mind to make a judgment. First is food. And obviously I'm not here for food in Berlin because it's not really that great compared with more other international cities such like New York or Singapore or Bangkok, and it's not comparable at all. The other one is art. Beijing has really lost its art scene, and which is still good in Berlin. Even when I'm here, everybody told me, wow, 10 years ago, how great it was. But from what I see, it's still quite active how the government support artists and how people supporting each other. And third one is sex. Here, there is certain liberal for your body. Most of the time, people don't judge you. It's maybe another new normal that people think, oh, you should always dress up. So it should not be boring going to...
Yeah, nobody is looking at you like a weirdo if you're wearing something a little bit strange in Berlin, right?
But it was a bit strange when in February when I started to wear a mask. I think people don't care about you wearing leather fetish costume, but they will stare at you wearing a mask. But the situation is changing, but I think this all need to be reflected. So Berlin is not 100% liberal of clothing, but it has a unique style. And also the nudist culture is great because you have your own decision for your body. But of course, there is also certain rules. If you go to the swimming pool, there are FKK hours where you don't need to wear clothes. And when I swim there, I feel it's so free, and it's make me feel I can never swim with swimming suits. What is that?
Yeah, I also love it. Actually, I was planning to make a video about nudist culture. First, I want to do something last summer in the lake. We already had a plan, me and two friends of mine, but I was becoming super busy with work. And after that, in winter, we planned to do maybe something in a sauna. But then, like, the coronavirus came. But maybe next summer, I will do something about FKK. Okay, and what are the things that you really hate about Berlin?
I hate about Berlin. I think obviously the bureaucracy, like anything you want to apply, anything you want to do, you need to send so much paperwork and send them by post. And sometimes you need to be there and queue up, and which is really horrible. Here, it sounds like the digital line is everybody was beware of it. So as I mentioned, the art thing has its advantage, but even though we say there are so many interesting events, I feel a lot of them are kind of similar. There is heteronormativity, there is also homonormativity. I feel there is also almost a queer normativity, like when you go to an event there, okay, we'll have a performance art, and you will know that what kind of music that can have, the noise, maybe sometimes techno. The performance is always people dress like a very weird, like an alien, and they have a lot of strange makeup, and then they will try to get some connection with the audience, and then the last thing is usually they will take off their clothes. And sometimes I feel, I already know what is going to happen. This makes me feel a bit disappointed the first half year when I go to as many events as I can. But after that period, went to last event. So I usually go to certain activities every maybe every other month. And I still have this fresh feeling about it. Oh, haven't been to this kind of queer performance event for a while, so it's still fresh for me. I can only keep myself fresh with that rhythm. Otherwise, I think it's almost a cliche. Oh, for example, like my nail polish. I remember a few years ago, everybody was like, wow, it's so interesting. Wow, I didn't see men doing nail polish. I feel this was special. But now it's almost a cliche that so many men are doing it. No matter they're straight or gay or trans or cis. And you know, it's kind of a queer normativity. Nothing is totally bad, totally good. And so it's just complex.
What do you wish you knew before you moved to Berlin?
It's an interesting question. I wish I knew more about how those bureaucracy worked. Yeah, because obviously I made a lot of mistakes, like when I apply my visa and do my insurance and finding flat. I just arrive here, like I have panic almost every week. So,
yeah, oh my God, this feeling.
Yeah. Oh, what you need to do this? Oh, wow. This I need to wait for 2 months to get it. Oh God! So like quite a few times I thought I won't make it. I will be in big trouble. And secondly, I think I wish I had made more German friends. I had made a lot of friends here. I know a lot of friends, but I just realized, I didn't have that many German friends.
Yeah, I have the same problem, you know. I also realized like last year or 2 years ago that I almost don't have any German friends. All my other friends are from other countries, but not from Germany.
Because we are living in this post-colonialism time, people think it's normal to go to other countries speaking English, but I think this is a very controversial topic because the power dynamic between different cultures. I have a lot of things I need help on language. I realize I only have a couple of German friends who can help me translation or proofreading, which is a shame. Because of this opportunity, I get to know more about some of my German friends. And apparently they're not always that awful.
What do you
we
mean?
have so much stereotype on them, but then it's really a progress of learning that you realize they're not necessarily acting as what you expected. So I have a small wish that I will make more German friends this year.
That's a goal for 2020 to have more German friends.
25.
Yeah. Do you learn the language? Do you learn German?
I don't, but I did have a great time. Well, the first few months, I was so curious about the language, and I didn't mention that I'm a big fan of Fassbinder, so I watched all his films when I was in university, and so curious about the culture. But after a few months, I felt really tired, and to memorize all the article and the grammar was so complicated. May I say that actually Chinese and German are almost the language opposite with each other, because for us, the most complicated thing is the writing. But for German, the character is just Latin, but the grammar is so difficult. But for Chinese, there is almost no grammar, so you can always switch stuff, and there is no article, there is no time, there is no causative, dative, stuff like that. So every time I was asked by my German teacher, hey, do you have this in Spanish? And then, yeah, we have. And do you have this in France? Yes. And the teacher will ask me, do you have this in Chinese? I said, no, we don't have grammar in Chinese. And she was like, really? How do you communicate with each other? We use misunderstandings all the time. And no, our language totally works. You don't need complicated grammar system to understand each other.
Yeah, a good example for that is the sentence "long time no see." It's from a Jackie Chan movie, I think. When you say "long time no see," it's becoming a phrase in English, but when you think about it, it's like you would say it in Chinese, right? Without grammar.
Just exactly. The literal translation from Chinese. So, in the beginning, I was thinking of studying here. So I heard that if you pass the B1 exam, you can go to apply the film school. And then I did pass my B1, and then I see the call for entry of the film school. They will ask me for B2 from the year I tried to apply. So I was like, okay, just 2 more months of learning, and then I didn't pass my exam.
I felt B1.
Yeah, okay.
So you're better than me.
They all have this cliche that Chinese are always very good at exam, which actually I broke the stereotype. And one day I see one person on the street was wearing a t-shirt saying, "Life is too short to learn German." Yeah. And I was like, oh fuck! That's why I realized that my life has been so hard. I'm not giving fuck to learning this language anymore, especially taking serious class and the intensive class. And I'm not going to do it. So afterward, I feel my life is much easier. And in the same time, I still learning German, but mostly by talking to people or watching films and TV, which I got a lot of vocabularies, but not necessarily through class. And intensive class every day, you need to study there for 3 hours, and then the homework will be sometimes 2 hours or even more. And if you prepare for the exam, and it's horrible.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time, and if you're working, you just don't have time for that. Do you see yourself staying in Berlin for long term?
So far, I can see myself, I always tell people that I'm the worst person to make a long-term plan. I never see myself where I am in the next years. I can see myself next few days. The next few days, I can still see myself in Berlin. So on one side, I really like Berlin, but on the other side, I want to say when a lot of people was expecting that, Berlin is great. It's oh my god, it's so good. So it's a little bit like in a relationship, if you love your boyfriend or girlfriend that much, and that means the relationship is not healthy. So I am not the person that if I leave Berlin, I will die.
Okay, so what's your favorite spots in the city? Favorite places, like maybe clubs or bars or restaurants or parks?
If you ask me different days, I may have different answer. But right now, because the temperature is getting higher and higher, I'm looking forward to summer. In the summer, one of the best places is Teufelsee. and there is a floating artificial island in the center of the lake. I want to lie there naked.
Teufelsee is one of the most famous nudist lakes.
Yeah, and get some baths and get in contact with other people and with friends. I hope this pandemic will finish so we can all enjoy life like that and typisch for Berlin.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward for that. Going to the lake, that will be nice, or just to swim a little bit. Haven't had sports since the pandemic started here. Just staying at home all the time, don't go to the gym. And yeah, I feel like my body is collapsing now. And what about clubs? Do you go to clubs?
Yeah, I do.
Which ones do you like?
Actually, I really like some smaller places. I mean, some big clubs are also great, but I prefer smaller parties with good music. For example, Same Hats in Neukölln. Always have some nice encounter and chatting with the strangers, which is not that common. I had a few times very good experiments at Paloma. You know that little bar in Cotabasator, and they have 2 dance floors, even it's tiny. If you like experimental music or noise, you should not miss Loophole. I think that place is so trashy, but in a very good way.
Yeah, I heard about Loophole, but I haven't been there yet.
They also have a screening program. Yeah, they have film screenings, and sometimes also you can just bring it on to stand up and show them to other people.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. And how Berlin changed you?
I didn't realize, but my friends told me that I become more mean.
Mean? Like evil?
Yeah.
Really? Like you mean like more witty or just a bad person?
So different people see it different. Some people think always almost aggressive. While living in Germany, you have to be good at fighting with other people. You might fall into argument anytime because, well, there is people judging you all the time. Like, hey, you're not biking on the bike lane. So, but come on, the bike lane, the main road is so shaky. I will destroy my laptop if I biking on that road. Just 2 minutes I'm on the walking lane. Well, you will die from that.
So you're like in this defense mode. You need to argue with people and to defend yourself.
Yeah, maybe I think I was always reflecting myself. Oh, did too much? But sometimes if you didn't react quickly, those people will feel okay. I educated someone. Yeah, they take advantage and they think, oh wow, I have the power to educate you and to do everything in a way that I want it to be. But well, I think on the other side, on the artistic side, that people are very passionate about the work they're doing, which I didn't see anymore in Beijing. Even people who promised you, but they got a job with better payment, they could abandon you. And I found certain phenomenon was really annoying. I feel Berlin still on this side. A lot of people just help me.
Yeah, because nobody pays good money in Berlin.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, so people work for their dream because of common artistic goal, and but that's also because there is not that much money in the art circle here. Back to Beijing, that was a few years ago, was also a bit more like that. So let's see how Berlin will change.
What's the one place in Berlin that you will avoid at all cost?
Oh my god, I think Potsdam Platz is awful.
Potsdamer Platz?
Yeah.
Well, why?
It's so cliche. And also there is nothing there. Every year during Berlin International Film Festival, most of the cinema are around the corner, but there is almost nothing to do, nothing to eat, and it's so hard to find any food or a place to sit down with friends for chat. And
yeah, I also don't understand this place because it looks so, I don't know, big buildings and it's shiny and like the film festival is there, but there's nothing. Well, I don't hate Potsdamer Platz. Well, I think I have a love-hate relationship with this place because if you stay below ground, I think it's kind of nice. Like Arsenal Kino is below ground and it has a good program, I think. And also there is a nice supermarket below ground, right? So just in Potsdamer Platz, don't go up the surface, stay below the surface. This is my motto.
There is also a nice Indonesian restaurant not far from.
Oh, right, right. Yeah, I know this one. And there are student dormitories around this area, so a lot of them are going to this restaurant. Yeah. Anyway, do you have like a dream movie you would like to make?
A dream movie. So when I come to Berlin, I told you I was doing a research about a script. I'm still trying to make that movie, so it's one of my dream. But it will be very hard because the story happened in Berlin, and but about the Asian community, and no companies think there is audience for such a story, and also it's about it's queer story, so it's almost impossible to get any money from within China. So I don't know which year I can do that, but I've been still working on the script.
What do you miss from China you wish we had here in Berlin?
More Chinese food.
Oh yeah,
Obviously,
I would
think
like that also.
it's here that the restaurants in improving, but somehow still a lot of cuisines from China not available in Berlin or even in whole Europe. And for example, like Yunnan food,
I think there is one in Kantstraße.
they have the rice noodle, but it's not complete like Yunnan. I don't think they have other dishes beside that from Yunnan. Chinese Muslim food is really one of the best, but you don't really find them widely in Europe.
There is this place called Grand Tang in Prenzlauer Berg here in Berlin, and they have this Muslim Chinese food.
It's again like they only have one dish like that, and it's not a restaurant for that cuisine. And the other thing I miss is karaoke. So if you go to karaoke in China, all the sound from your phone, and there is food, and there is a lot of drinks. And when I go back to China, I will eat, I will sing karaoke, and I will have also massage, Chinese medicine massage. I didn't know any good ones here in Germany.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel sometimes discrimination because of your origin?
I had a few times experiments already, which is not a big surprise. But when it happened, I was still shocked. Like a bit more than 1 year ago, there was someone just come to me, "Hey, I'm from China. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck China." And I was with a friend from China because we were speaking Chinese, and he recognized and just yelling at me and followed me for 2 blocks.
Oh, really? He followed you?
That's scary. And so I have been, you know, I told you that I become more aggressive out come to Berlin. So I've been shouting to him, and we were just literally on the street and yelling and cursing and swearing each other. And until I said, "Hey, do you want to get famous? And I can help you." So I filmed him, and he showed me his passport in the video.
Oh, really? Did you go to the police?
I go to the police, and the police found him. But I was very, very disappointed. They didn't do anything. They decided not to sue him. Something awful happened to me again, and connected with the coronavirus. And I was called coronavirus by one guy on the U-Bahn, and I got a video again. So fortunately, I'm a filmmaker, so I'm still in progress to report about him. But I just informed by the police that a few days ago they said they're trying to find the video from the CCTV system in the U-Bahn, but it didn't work that day. And how lucky I was. So they're still trying to use my video as evidence. Obviously, he said I fuck your mom and fuck China and your coronavirus, blah blah, in the video. I hope they will at least do something. And I don't know what they're waiting for. If this continues happening until I got a gunshot, they will take any action. I don't know. This is how. Also, these 2 events happened, and there was nobody. There was nobody helping me on the street or in the U-Bahn. That was even more hurtful than anything else. But every time when you tell your friends, and a lot of times they're, are you sure about that? Are you too sensitive? And I also get people shout on the street to me. I don't know if they're connected to racial issues. So they were still doubting. Oh, we don't have a racial issues in Germany. So
yeah, I think this is a very big taboo, especially in Berlin. People don't say there is a racism problem here. People really try to promote Berlin as a very open and safe place, but there are still problems. People just don't want to talk about them.
I think, yeah, obviously you can see what caused this when you open the German TV. Quite wide, not diverse at all. How many times have you seen people of color on TV?
Actually, recently I'm watching a lot of Deutsche Welle on YouTube because they have like English content about Germany and about Berlin, and they really try to be like very diverse with Asian and black people and like all Middle Eastern. Yeah.
But you know, that's still the English channel.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't watch German television. I find it very boring, actually. And I also don't understand German so good. So
German drama series, and I have been watching a few of them, and they are all totally white, you know, dark. So it's happened in a small town in South Germany. That's a Netflix production, but it's totally white. And Babylon Berlin, and that's the period. So it's very white. And Bad Banker. That one, I don't know how is the bank, how is the financial industry is, but representative of that, mostly very white people dominating the whole situation. I always say like being Asian in Germany is like being queer in China. You are allowed to exist, but you're not being seen.
but you show your films here?
It's just like when I was in China, I was allowed to do some screenings in certain spaces. But for me, as a filmmaker and artist and activist, my ideology is to change the boundary to push more. So that's why I think it was really beautiful cooperation between us on the piece to the German TV that's representing Asian on a mainstream media platform.
I guess the coronavirus, on one hand, really stopped life as we knew it before because we stay at home and everything, and we don't do movies or other stuff that we would like to do. But there are other opportunities that comes with it, like this with the German television. What do you think about the queer life, the gay life in Berlin?
You know, the other day, a friend just told me about him recently identifying himself as a trans man, and he went to the first all-male sex party, and he told me that that day he got so many people staring at him, like, oh, what are you doing here, or oh, excuse me, well, what is this about? Then I told him, you know what, as an Asian person, sometimes you also have this feeling when you go to a party. The sex thing and the queer thing is quite amazing because there are so many different events, so many different parties, so many different activities. But on the other side, I think the queer thing still need to work on it on certain diversity.
Okay, so maybe that will be the last question. How are you coping with COVID-19? And the situation right now?
In the beginning, I was really upset because I have some project I have to postpone, and after a week, I got used to work from home, and I enjoy my time cooking here. But of course, it's also my certain privilege that I can stay home because I do have a home. I can still buy food because I have some saving. Think about this time I got a lot of time to read, to write, and to think. It's very precious. On one side, it's so sad that people are passing away. I imagine a few years later, when I'm looking back to this period, I will think a lot about this. And I feel thankful to every single second in my life. And I also appreciate what a city like Berlin had giving me. It's a time that we need to have solidarity more than ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, amen to that. That's a good note to finish this video. So thank again for coming to this chat, and
you're welcome. Sorry,
yeah,
sometimes I just lose a point. That's I'm Sagittarius, you know, my star sign. I'm always like everywhere. So and also well already being familiar, so I always gonna want to try to give something fresh, so I didn't follow just exactly the questions. So.
yeah, no worries, that's okay.